Hey guys, Justin here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Morimoto XB rear side markers available for all 2015 and newer Mustangs. Now, the Morimoto rear LED options that we have here today should appeal to the Mustang owners who would like to go with that completely smoked out or blacked out look with their ride and include lights such as the markers on their S550s, while at the same time adding some very unique lighting and some very high quality LED stuff in the process. So first things first here, guys, I do want to point out that if you're just simply looking to smoke the marker lights on your S550, you're going to find a lot of different ways to do it here at AM. Certainly go with a more affordable route such as the traditional vinyl tint instead. And as always, guys, I'm going to highly recommend checking out the rest of our options back on the site, including some of those vinyl options if you haven't done so already, just to kind of get a better sense of what you're looking at and some of your different options. Now, on the other hand, guys, if you do want to go with that smoked out or blacked out look, but more importantly, you'd rather go with something that's going to add a lot of brightness to those rear marker lights, something that's going to be very high quality and pack a pretty solid warranty, and also pack a pretty unique light pattern, well then, definitely hang out with me and talk about these Morimotos a little bit more. But now let's focus in on that unique lighting pattern that we talked about here earlier, guys, because unlike the factory markers or even some other options in the category that are going to utilize a single dull incandescent bulb right in the middle here, the Morimotos are going to offer two strips of that high intensity LED lighting that will illuminate basically from one end to the other. So I really like that. Again, some options will just give you a single strip, which I think looks pretty cool, but the dual light here, or dual strip, is certainly unique amongst others in the category. Now, speaking of quality, let's move into construction a bit more here, guys, as those LEDs are going to be housed in an ABS plastic base and then topped off with a UV resistant or UV coated smoked polycarbonate lens. The lights themselves are going to be essentially a carbon copy of your factory lighting from an overall design, shape, or footprint, whatever you want to say, meaning basically they're just going to be a direct replacement without the need for any modification. On top of that, guys, there's no wiring needed. Everything is completely plug and play here thanks to your built-in harness. And taking that quality a step further here, guys, some of our more affordable options on the site will give you literally like a red and a black wire just kind of dangling out the back. The Morimotos give you a nice braided loom to cover and protect that wire, along with a much nicer factory style connection. So again, it's the little things that really go into a higher quality light such as this that really make the difference, in my opinion. Yes, you're going to pay for it at the end of the day, but it should be noted that these are certainly going to deliver a much higher quality product. Now, this is a great time to mention that price point here, guys. The Morimoto set will live right around that $100 for the pair here, give or take, which is certainly going to round out the upper end of the price spectrum when we're talking about similar products here on the site. However, going back to what I just said, the quality, the length of warranty, all of these factors kind of go into that higher price point. And when you compare that to some of your more affordable options here on the site, it certainly, I think, separates these from some of your other choices. So whether or not you're willing to pay for that extra, kind of quality and warranty, that's entirely up to you, of course, but it is my job to point out some of these differences between the more budget-friendly options and something like the Morimotos here. All right, last but not least, we want to show you how to install these on your S550 at home. As I mentioned earlier, it is going to be a simple plug and play direct swap, no wiring needed, no crazy modification, anything like that. And because of all that, the site's going to stick to a pretty soft 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe 10 minutes or so of your time to complete from start to finish. But to give you a better idea of just how this one will go down at home, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Hi everyone, today we're installing a set of side marker lights on our Mustang, so let's get started with the uninstall of the stock lights. Now, first thing I want to point out is obviously you can see that our vehicle is up on a lift. You do not need a lift. Matter of fact, you don't even need a set of jack stands and a jack to do this. You could do it by laying on the ground. The only reason that we've got it up in the lift right now is just so you can see what you're going to be dealing with when you go to change these lights out. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you know, your side marker light is on the rear quarter panel right behind the rear wheel. Now, there are no tools needed to replace this light. All you're going to do is press on this clip right here at the front of the light, press it towards the back, and then the light itself will pop out. Once it pops out, you can go ahead and disconnect the connector here from the outside of the vehicle. So like I said, you don't even have to have this up on a lift. Once you know exactly what you're looking for and what you have to do, you could do this from the ground. So let's go ahead and get that taken out. So just reach up, push the clip towards the back, and you see the light pops out. Now once you've got your light out of the opening, then you can go ahead and press on the release lever on the connector here and pull your light out. Now once you've got the light out on one side, you can just repeat that process for the other side. Now once you've got your lights out, in order to install the new ones, what you're going to need to do is reuse the light bulb socket from the old light for the new light. So you're going to turn your socket counterclockwise until it stops, and then simply pull it out. Once you've got it out, go ahead and gently pull the bulb out, and now we can use the socket on our new light. Now once we've got our socket out, we can go ahead and plug our light in where the light bulb was, and then feed the wire back inside the light, insert the socket into the light, twist it clockwise until it locks, and now we can go ahead and connect it to our harness. So we're just going to plug that in like so. Once we've got it in, we can feed this last clip on the back through this piece right here on the quarter panel. So now we'll take this clip on the back of the light, slide it behind this vertical bar here so it locks it into place, and then just push the front of the light in until it snaps. And now you can repeat that process for the other side. And that wraps up our review and install of the Morimoto XB LED side marker lights in the smoke lens for your 15 and newer Mustang. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.